What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to Beyond Organic Gardening. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I wanted to answer a question that I've noticed that people have about wood chip gardening, back to Eden gardening. And that is, how long does it take for my wood chips to turn into soil? And I understand that because I had the same question when I first got started. I was really impatient. Obviously I wanted to break down and have them turn into soil really quick so I could get some good produce going really fast. And being a gardener, you have to learn how to be patient, because if you get too impatient, you start screwing with stuff and you could really start messing some stuff up. So in this video, what I want to do is answer what my experience has been and how fast it has taken wood chips to break down, turn into soil. And I also want to show you some ways that you can ensure that you get some really early success when you put your wood chips down in the first place, while you wait for them to break down and turn into soil. So the first thing that plays a part into how fast your wood chips break down is your climate, your growing zone. I'm in growing zone 6B. We get a decent amount of rain here throughout the year, and we get pretty cold winters from about November to mid to late April. It's cold here, and the colder it is, the less that your wood chips break down, right? The slower that they break down, versus somewhere like Florida where it's warm, it's humid, gets a good amount of rain all year. They're going to break down faster there. Here in 6B, I've noticed it takes about a year and a half to notice some decent breakdown in the wood chips. And some stuff that I've seen with like climates like Florida, like I just explained, I've seen people have complete breakdown of wood chips within 6 months to 1 year. So they break down a lot faster in those type of climates. The warmer it is, the faster they'll break down. Second thing, depends on the type of wood chips that you have, right? I have here primarily oak wood chips. Now, oak is dense hardwood, has a lot of carbon in it. The more carbon that you have in your wood chips, the longer it's going to take them to break down. That's just is what it is. Versus something like pine, softwood, less dense, has a lot less carbon. That's going to break down faster than oak. So it depends on the type of wood chips that you have as well. So there is no one answer to how fast it takes them to turn into soil. It varies depending on your conditions, right? There's different variables. But they will break down at some point, right? No matter what your conditions are, they will break down and turn into soil at some point. Usually it's going to be, I say, anywhere from 1 to 3 years. And I know that sounds like a long time, but don't worry. It's stuff you can do in the meantime while they're breaking down to ensure that you get success almost right away. The first thing that you can do is get some leaves, run them over with a lawnmower a few times, chop them up with a weed eater, and then lay them on the ground about 6-8 to a foot deep, right? They'll compress and shrink down to about half that size, and then you can go over that and put wood chips on top of those. Leaves break down a lot faster than wood chips do because there's not as much carbon in them, and there's also more nutrients in leaves than there are in just wood chips, just chips of wood, right? Which leads me into my next thing. When you get wood chips, you don't want just wood chips or just bark chips. Wood chips, you want arborist style. An arborist style is pretty much, when they chop up a tree or they run it through a chipper, they're pretty much just running the branches of trees through those chippers. And the branches of trees, the twigs, a ton of leaves, the smaller parts of the tree, that's where a lot of the nutrients are. There's less carbon in those areas, so they break down a lot faster and turn into soil a lot faster. So when you get wood chips, you want arborist style because they have a lot of leaves and stuff in them, and those within the wood chips break down pretty fast. Next thing that you can do, this is what I recommend the most, is get some finished compost, put that on the ground about 4 inches deep, 4 to 5 inches deep, and then put wood chips on top of that. When you do that, you can plant directly into the compost. The wood chips are still over the top of it, acting as a mulch, and they'll break down over time and continue to add to that compost there. But the compost that you put down initially is a good growing medium, so you can start planting and growing in it right away. So your wood chips will eventually break down and catch up, and then you'll just be able to continue that cycle. But for early success, go ahead and throw some compost down first and then put your wood chips on top of it. I hope that helps. I hope that answers some questions for you guys. Hope that answers the questions well. I hope I gave you some great tips. Go ahead and tune in, like and subscribe, like the video. I got plenty more stuff coming. Glad to have y'all along. Glad y'all stayed through and watched the video. I will catch y'all next time. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Peace.